Hey everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning. I am a little bit behind time, but that's okay because I am perfectly on time to give you guys an update on day three of the case of the United States versus Sean P. Diddy Combs. I hope you guys are doing well. Of course, as you guys know, I am covering uh, this trial utilizing, let me stop the music. Hold on. There we go. Utilizing, all of the sources, the folks that are live tweeting, and just giving my opinion. I consider myself to be the 13th juror, and let's get right into it. So, Cassie is still on the stand, and it's still direct examination by the prosecution. This morning, let's see. This morning they started off with, all rise. Judge Subramanian, we have a note from a juror about a scheduling accommodation. It's not in the docket. What about Mrs. Ventura's husband? The United States attorney says that he will be removed from the courtroom before a certain issue comes up. Judge Subramani responds, good. Now, I don't know what particular subject they're talking about, but it must be a sensitive topic that maybe Cassie is uncomfortable with discussing in front of her husband. Um, but the thing of that is, anything within her testimony that's shared. There's so many reporters in the gallery directly in that same courtroom, as well as individuals, in overflows. There's a lot of vloggers like Max V. I don't know if you guys know Max, but Max is actually boots on the ground. He is in New York in attendance. I don't know if Max has gotten into the courtroom, but he is definitely there covering it live. Hey, son, how are you, dear? So it says here the judge, have the privacy screens been installed? AUSA, they're being installed by our court tech staff. Judge, on the conferring with counsel issue, I tend to agree with Mrs. Shapiro. Mrs. Shapiro, it would be Diddy's attorney. AUSA, what about the conferring about questions about privilege? Combs's Alexandria Shapiro, I'm concerned that during the break there could be generalized discussion about the testimony that might come up. We are going to try to avoid any privileged communications. AUSA, when I say AUSA, y'all, I'm talking about the prosecution, I'm talking about the government's attorneys. During Mr. Phillips' testimony, I spoke with his lawyer. AUSA, we anticipate these witnesses being on cross examination for multiple days. We need to speak with them about security and transportation. Judge, Ms. Shapiro, can you draft something on a piece of paper, an instruction you would have me give? AUSA, the defense has sent us a zip file of text messages. We are reviewing them before raising it. The judge, I appreciate that. AUSA Comey, the defense still still not shown us exhibits they may use in cross-examination of Miss Ventura. We are worried this will continue. Combs Anna Marie Estiveo. I think that's the lawyer's name. And this, wait a minute, Estevito or Estevao. Estevio. That's a new attorney. So Diddy has added another attorney to his legal team. That's interesting. I'll have to check out her history and her experience. That's interesting. We are making several chains of text messages. They had these documents in their possession for 8 months before we got them. Judge, we are here. We were told there's half a day left of direct. Could you give them at lunch? So that's interesting to note because I guess the prosecution is going to wrap up their direct examination of Cassie today, and then the defense will be able to cross examine her. That's going to be very interesting because the defense has a lot to try to clear up. They have a lot to try to paint that picture for the jury as far as what their defense strategy is going to be with what all that Cassie has said. So I'm doing like the first half now, guys, and then I'll be back. I'll be back later today with what occurred after the lunch break. So it says the defense says our paralegal is printing them out. AUSA Comey, they should have turned over these exhibits to us on April 27th. The judge, Miss Garagos, and in the parentheses it says handling this issue. We did have a schedule. As you mark them, why shouldn't you be required to turn them over? It's Combs's Agnifilo. Now, Agnifilo, for those of you who are not aware, Mark Agnifilo is lead attorney on this case. And what they're discussing right now is some discovery that apparently the defense has failed to turn over to the prosecution. Because whenever there's a trial going on, ideally, in a perfect world, there should be absolutely no surprises on either side of the aisle. There shouldn't be any exhibits or any evidence that the prosecution is unaware of or the defense is unaware of. So they are supposed to swap whatever evidence they're planning to present at trial. And that's what they're arguing right now. But Mark Agnifilo says Rule 16 does not contemplate these carve outs. We are not behind the eight ball on this. We have complied, sorry, with Rule 16. I would be surprised if the government only I would be surprised if the government only has another 3 hours with Ms. Ventura. But whatever. Mark is getting sassy in the courtroom, y'all. Combs's attorney, Mark Agnafilo. We don't think it's required, but we'll do it. Luckily, we have a sizable defense team, so we can do it. Judge, Miss Comey, what do you want? AUSA Comey says we want their exhibits, not a trial by ambush. I want them now. I will find I will find I will find the cases. Judge Subramani, you don't have to put you don't have to put in a letter. You can just email me the cases and I'll take a look. I'll take a look at them. Then in here it says, wait a minute. Are the judicial documents, and this is what the live tweeter says that they would have asked, are these judicial documents going to go into the public docket? Oh no, this is a question that they're wondering if it is. How much is being left off the docket in this case? That's like a question that the live tweeter is asking. I'm sure that there's probably a considerable amount of evidence that's going to be under seal. Probably a considerable amount of evidence in this case that's never going to be shared with the public because of its sensitive nature or because it may impact others, like maybe other celebrities, other people in the entertainment, modeling, and music industry. So, the Judge Submarinian says, we have a witness waiting in the back. Produce them before the cross examination starts. You can email me cases during the trial day. Let's get moving. Let's get Ms. Ventura back. Witness entering. The judge, welcome back. Judge, all rise. The jurors enter the courtroom. Judge Submarinian, you are still under oath. Proceed. AUSA Johnson, may I approach the witness? The judge, you may. AUSA Johnson, now this is Cassie back on the stand, and the prosecution is going to proceed with their cross examination. Well, their direct examination. AUSA Johnson, Miss Ventura, I just handed you 2 drives. What is on them? GX8. Ventura, messages and photos from my device. Okay, so let me stop there real quick. So Cassie supplied the prosecution with photos as well as text messages from her device. Interesting. AUSA Johnson, yesterday you testified about Sean going armed to look for Suge Knight. Ventura, Sean took Pum Pums with him. AUSA, and he told you to ask escorts if they were police officers. Ventura, I would begin by saying I was not a police officer. AUSA, Sean told you to do that? Yes. AUSA, what happened when you fought back? Ventura, I did that more earlier in the relationship. It would make him more violent, want to push me harder. Defense, objection to the speculation. Judge, overruled. AUSA, how would Sean react if you fought back? A, anger. AUSA, I'm going to show you the LA Intercontinental Hallway again. Play from 1 minute 43 seconds to 1 minute 46 seconds. Who enters? Ventura. Sean. AUSA. What's in his hand? Ventura. He doesn't appear to have anything. AUSA. Play to 1 minute 59 seconds. Now, anything in his hand? Ventura. My phone. AUSA. How did he get it? Ventura. Well, he took all of my stuff. AUSA. Where does he end up? Ventura. Sitting in a chair in front of the window. AUSA. What are you doing? Ventura. I'm walking away from him. AUSA. Now, who's in the video? Ventura. Me and security. AUSA. Is this one? Play from 5 minutes and 31 seconds. Where did you go from the hotel? Ventura. To my house. I took an Uber. AUSA. Now, let's turn to the text messages. Can you read page 4? Ventura. Please call. I'm surrounded. AUSA. Who said that? Ventura. From Sean. He was running around in a towel. I told him to put the robe on. AUSA. Who sent these green messages? Ventura. I did. I wrote to Sean. Um, Giles left. As long as you're quiet, you can stay. Peace. AUSA. Who was Giles? Answer. An escort. AUSA. Is this Giles? Photo shown with a big smile. Cassie Ventura says yes. AUSA. B606 and 607 side by side, Cassie in big sunglasses. Ventura, that's me. A selfie of me with a fat lip. AUSA, when did you take it? Ventura, in the Uber with one of my phones. AUSA, what did you write here? Ventura, I said, please stay away from me. AUSA, and what does he say? Ventura he says, I'm getting arrested. AUSA, was he? Ventura, I don't think so. AUSA, what did you write back? Ventura, plugging my phone in and going to bed. AUSA, who was at your home when you got there? Ventura, Carrie Morgan. She was upset when she saw me. She called the police. AUSA, did you speak with them? Ventura, yes, but I didn't say who I was talking about, and they left. AUSA, why? Ventura, I wasn't ready. AUSA, did Sean try to come to your apartment? Ventura, yes. He was banging. That was pretty normal from him. Wait, yeah, he was banging. That was pretty normal for him. I wonder if they meant he was begging. I don't know. But it says banging. So I'm going to read exactly what they live tweet, guys. Guys, please be sure to tap in, ring my doorbell, hit the like button on your way in here. Welcome, welcome. We are reviewing what's occurred so far in the case of the United States versus Sean P. Diddy Combs. Welcome to the room, everybody. AUSA, and the prosecution is still up to bat with direct examination of Cassie. All right, AUSA, did you hear from Miss Corian that day? Ventura, yes. And I went to see D Rock and his wife to try to feel safe. AUSA, in this photo, what are you wearing? Ventura, a grown, a gown and sunglasses. I had a black eye. AUSA, what if any other bruising was visible? Ventura, I had several bruises on my legs, but I changed clothes. AUSA, what's this? Ventura, me and Sean at the after party. AUSA, I'm going to show you escorts. Do you know the name of this person? Ventura, no. AUSA, in what cities did you use him? Ventura, New York. AUSA, who's this? Ventura, Islander. He was a he was on Latin Men. We used him in LA and maybe Las Vegas. AUSA, who's this? And they named the exhibit 2A-616. Ventura, we called him Tommy. AUSA, who's this? Ventura, I know him as Greg. an escort in Miami. AUSA, who's this? Ventura, Jonathan, we saw him in Miami. AUSA, and who's this? It says red baseball cap backwards. Ventura, I don't know. He looks familiar from the freak offs. AUSA, what did you write here? Ventura, this is all we do. I'm just getting back on track. I'm sure you can call Kim or something. AUSA, what did you mean by this is all we do? Ventura, freak offs. AUSA, did you try to avoid anything in the freak offs? Ventura, I tried to avoid kissing. It seems too intimate, but Sean told me to do it, to kiss the escorts. AUSA, what did Sean ask you to do on your 29th birthday? Ventura, a freak off. Ventura, he had me pulled out, he had me pulled out of the blind dragon for the freak off by some security. AUSA, what about blackmail material? Ventura, he wanted me to fear objection. The defense. The judge overruled. AUSA, when would Sean mention the freak off videos? Ventura, to hurt me. Ventura, one time I was dating someone else and he threatened to release the freak off videos. I'd have to answer to my mother. It's horrible and disgusting. No one should do that to anyone. AUSA, what did Sean say the impact would be? Ventura, shame. So, pretty much, Diddy was holding over her head these freak off videos to control her whenever he felt or saw fit, which is kind of like that's really jacked up because if you think about it, if you really consider it, the threat of her being exposed in front of her mother, her siblings, her parents, all of her friends. A lot of what occurred during these freak offs were very, I can't even really say risque. I would say a lot of it was, definitely a lot of it was bizarre and like the kink level is turned all the way up. So, yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there are any more. Did you try to avoid? Trying to see if there's any more live tweets for this morning. Let's see. Okay, hold on. I think let's see. Okay, shame. So now the next AUSA. Let me show you a chat Who's on it? Ventura. Me and Sean, July 22nd, 2013. AUSA, read your message. Ventura. I wrote, please delete the videos off your phone. Too many people have access to your devices. He said, no, no iCloud, all good. Um, Ambien kicking in. So I guess he was kind of letting her know that I guess he'll keep everything on in his iCloud, maybe to keep it a little bit more private. That doesn't matter. He had a entire team, and I'm sure there were people on his team with access to his iCloud. That just, to me, in my personal opinion, and yes, I'm going to be inserting my opinion where I see fit. To me, it seems like he wanted to ensure that he had uh, this information at all times. Okay. AUSA. Sidebar. The judge. Yes. If you can. I'm sorry. If you like and can. So they go to the bench, I guess, to speak with the judge. 11:10 a.m. Judge has taken a break to change some things. To change some things in the courtroom. During the break, Combs sits at defense table. His lawyer, Xavier Donaldson, that's another attorney. How many attorneys did he currently have? I've not heard that name either. So we have Escovedo and Donaldson. I have to check them out. Leaning down to speak with him. Okay. AUSA Johnson. There's still some issues with the privacy screens. So we'll put that off and do something else now. Judge. Okay. Welcome back, Miss Ventura. Bring in the jury. Jury enters. AUSA Johnson. I offer more exhibits. AUSA Johnson. What did you say here? Ventura. I'd been told there was a sexual explicit video out there about me. I reached out to Sean. AUSA. Then what? Ventura. We were driving back to New York City from Atlantic City to talk to this DJ, Woo Kid. Do y'all know DJ Woo Kid? He's pretty big up north. Um, Let me know in the comments if you're here in the live chat and you know DJ Woo Kid, or let me know on the replay. AUSA. Did that happen? Ventura. Wait a minute. Okay. Did that happen, Ventura, at a restaurant? AUSA. What was security's role? Ventura. To intimidate. They were lining the room. AUSA. Who was there? Ventura. Uncle Paulie, James Cruz. AUSA. How would you recover from a freak off? Ventura. I take, let me make sure I read that right. Yeah, recover from a freak off. I take opiates. I wanted to feel numb. We get massages IV fluids. The chef would cook us something. AUSA. How often did you take opiates after freak offs? Ventura. Often. I got urinary tract infections. AUSA. Were the UTIs painful? Ventura. Very. Antibacterials didn't work anymore. Wow, that's really crazy. AUSA. How did it feel during freak offs? Ventura. Burning. I would not advise it. AUSA. Let's read this out loud. Ventura. I have all of these sores on my tongue. I have another UTI. AUSA. What sores? Ventura. Friction in my mouth. AUSA. From what? Ventura. Oral sex. AUSA. You said another UTI, then sad face emoji? Ventura. I was open with him about them. AUSA. So you feel sick? Ventura. Why are you sorry? I took the blame for things. Hold on. I think the live tweet messed this up because I don't, it's a question, and I think the AUSA asked, why are you sorry? And Cassie answered, I took the blame for everything. Now, AUSA, which escort would go to sex clubs with you and Sean? Ventura. Giles. AUSA. The escort from the later, I'm sorry, the Intercontinental in LA? Ventura. Yes. AUSA. Did you want to have sex with Giles ever? Ventura. No, and laughs. But I knew him. AUSA. Why did you do it? Ventura. Sean. AUSA. Who was present when Sean put his hands on you at freakouts? Ventura. Sometimes the escorts was there too. AUSA. In the same room? Ventura. Yes, Giles. AUSA. And in the suite? Ventura. Yes. AUSA. Were were they aware? Defense. Objection. The judge. Overruled. Ventura answers. Yes. Whenever the judge says overruled, that means that they can actually proceed with the question and as well as the answer. That means that the person on the stand is given the green light to answer that question. Okay. Ventura. The escorts would ask if I was okay afterward. AUSA. In what cities did he put his hands on you? Ventura. New York, LA, Miami. AUSA. How frequently? Ventura. Too frequently. AUSA. What's the Abbey? Ventura. A gay club in LA. I went there with my friend. AUSA. Where were you going? Ventura. to a music festival in Canada, run by Drake. Sean came to my home and tried to attack me. I was thrown into the bed frame. AUSA. What's this? I guess they're showing her exhibits of photos and she's explaining exactly where she was, what she was doing, and what's depicted in the photo. Ventura. A photo of my eye afterward. AUSA. Who took you to the doctor? Ventura. D Rock. And that was how many minutes ago? That was 6 minutes ago. That last tweet was 6 minutes ago, so I'm waiting for more live tweets, y'all. While we wait, let me check and see. Oh, excuse me. That was 6 minutes ago, so we are in lockstep just about with the goings on in the courtroom, which is a good thing. So while we wait, let me get some music. Let me put a little mood music on, guys. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit that like button one time. And if you don't mind, feel free to share the stream on your social media platforms. Give me a second, guys. Uno momento, por favor. Okay, so I'm at, here we go, show more simplified. All right, so we have more tweets here. Okay, let's continue. Let me turn this music off. All right, so we left off with. Did I turn the music off? Yeah, I did. We left off with who took you to the doctor, and Cassie said D Rock. Next, AUSA. Did you send this photo to Sean? Ventura. Yes. And I wrote, so you can remember. I wanted him to be sorry about it, at least. AUSA. In this photo, where were you, Ventura? In the green room in Toronto. I put my hair over my eye. Then we went to the Hamptons. Ventura. Sean wanted to have a freak off in the Hamptons. We got a hotel and an escort. AUSA, which one? Ventura. Dave, I took GHB. I went into a G hole and blacked out. I woke up nude in the shower. Dave and Sean were freaking out. I bugged out. It wasn't pretty. AUSA, then what? Ventura, I spoke to a friend of Sean's and then we had a freak off. AUSA, what's this? Ventura, my eyebrow healed up a little bit a week later. I have a permanent scar on my eyebrow. AUSA, what's this? Ventura, me at the Can Canis Festival. AUSA, what happened at Canis? Ventura, Sean accused me of taking drugs from his boat. He threw me off, but my passport was still on the boat. AUSA, and were you were you on the red carpet that same night? Ventura, yes. AUSA, did you attend the movie? Ventura, yes. AUSA, how did you get back to New York? Ventura, on a commercial flight, I traded my seat to get away, but he traded to get next to me. AUSA, what did he show you? Ventura, freak off videos. He played them for me on one of his laptops. He said he'd release them. So again, with the threats of exposing their uh, escapades. So it seems like it was a continuous, I should say, like situation of like freak offs, blackmail, freak offs, blackmail, freak offs, blackmail. And the prosecution is doing an awesome job of showing the consistency of the control, the abuse, as well as the blackmail throughout their direct examination. So that's good because if I'm not mistaken, the prosecution's stance is that, it was a toxic relationship. They probably should have broken up sooner than they did. But the prosecution is definitely painting a picture that appears to show that, Diddy was kind of holding the freak off videos over Cassie's head. Now, AUSA, how did you feel? Ventura, trapped. AUSA, when you landed in New York, what did you do? Ventura, we went to a dinner, then he wanted to have a freak off. So we had a freak off. AUSA, why did you do it? Ventura, to make him not threaten me. So, I mean, he literally just played her videos on his laptop of freak offs, threatened to actually release them publicly. So, I mean, I guess she felt the need to comply with all of his requests so that, for lack of a better term, their secret could be safe. Because at the time, Cassie didn't have like a huge singing career, but I mean, she was definitely still celebrity status, and a lot of people knew her, especially with her hit that she made, "Me and You," the one that was actually created and released while she was with Ryan Leslie. AUSA. Let's read these from June 13th, 2013. Had Sean been violent with you before this? Ventura, yes. AUSA, had you told him before you didn't want to do freak offs? Ventura, yes. AUSA, you said you needed GHB? Ventura, yes. And the two escorts and the two and that two escorts were not available. I'm sorry, two escorts not available. So I guess they were trying to plan their freak off. So, she openly admitted that she had to use uh, drugs in order to be able to be numb and perform during these freak off parties, these events. So I guess that was kind of like her letting him know what she would need and letting him know, like, the two escorts, I guess probably their regular escorts that they used were not available at the. Let's see, we're waiting on live tweets. We are coming up almost to lunchtime, guys, and we're not doing too bad. I guess I think the court probably will break at 1. That's probably when they take their lunch. But how are y'all doing? How is everything coming out in this testimony? Like, okay, let me ask this instead of saying that. Because I was gonna ask how is it impacting you, but like, has anybody made any predictions or have you formed any opinion as to the guilt and or innocence of Sean P. Diddy Combs? We're on day 3. Let's keep that in mind. We're on day 3, and the defense, they cross-examined the hotel security. They cross-examined Daniel Phillips, the male experience. He doesn't want to be called an escort, so the male experience. But they haven't actually cross-examined Cassie just yet, which I'm sure that more than likely is probably going to begin today. More than likely, it'll probably definitely begin to get today. Um, if the prosecution is able to get through all of their questioning. But has anybody formed an opinion? I'll tell you guys, the only opinion that I have formed is that, like, Diddy is into some really freaky, kinky stuff. And listen, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. Non-judgmental, no judgment here. I feel that, if that's what he needed to fulfill him sexually, it is what it is. I don't have a problem with someone being into whatever they're into, as long as it doesn't hurt and or harm others, it's cool. Do what you like, enjoy yourself. Hey, Michelle with 1L, how are you, dear? Do what you like, enjoy yourself. As long as you're not harming anyone, I don't see any problem in it. It's just, it's just when it crosses the line of hurting someone else, that's when I'm like, yeah, that's not cool. But that's the only opinion that I formed, y'all. Diddy is into some real freaky, when I say freaky, freaky stuff. And I don't understand. I don't understand his level of kink, but I guess it's not for me to understand. It's just interesting. Um, it's very interesting, extremely interesting that he would be wanting to do half of the things that have been described in this trial so far. I've spoken to a few people who have said like, "Oh my goodness, his family's in the courtroom," and I'm almost certain that he may have prepped his family. I mean, I would have told my family like, "Listen, there's going to be things that come up that are going to be, embarrassing, like my private preferences, my sex life, different things of that nature. So just prepared, be prepared to hear it, be prepared to, understand that it was a time where I was, doing drugs or whatever." I'm sure that he he probably didn't have a choice. He had to explain that, right? He had to explain that. So let's carry on. I was waiting for another live tweet to come through. Let's see. Here we go. We have another live tweet, but I wanted to wait for another one because we're like in lockstep. This live tweet from the trial was just sent 4 minutes ago. So let's see. Ventura. Um, well, let's go back. I'm gonna double back. Ventura says yes, and well, AUSA said you said you needed GHB. Ventura, yes, and that two escorts not available. Ventura, I wrote only Paul available or Jake, the white guy, but he can't do until 11. The other guy can do earlier. It's just one more person knowing our secret. AUSA, what did you mean? Ventura, the freak offs. AUSA, what is SLS? Ventura, a hotel in Hollywood. Okay. So it sounds to me like, albeit Cassie Cassie asserts that she was threatened repeatedly by Diddy, physically abused by him to coerce her into doing these freak offs. But and I understand. Let me just be clear. I understand before I even say it. I understand. But it seems like she wanted to keep like a consistent crowd of attendees to these freak offs, Like, she didn't want to just get, which is understandable, she didn't want to just get multiple men, like multiple random men to for her to sleep with, because this is something that her partner wanted or was into. She didn't want to like add to the list of people who knew about it and participated in it. She wanted to have like a consistent group. That's what I gather from that last message. When she says it'll just be one more person to know about our secret. So it's kind of like she's trying to do her very best to keep their escapades under wraps. So 3 minutes ago, AUSA, when would you take Valium? Before a freak off? Ventura, when I had anxiety, Sean's driver was bringing me the Valium. It was Raheem, I think. So they didn't. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me stop right there. She was taking Valium, okay, and she just said that Diddy's driver was bringing her the Valium. So that that would tell me that she didn't have a prescription for this Valium. So where was the Valium coming from? Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Okay now. So, mm, that's mm, 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 mm. So I know. I'm just, you know what, y'all? I'm wondering what do you guys think is going through the jury's mind right now? Put it in the chat if you're here in the live stream, or if you're catching this on the replay. Let me know on the replay. What if you were if you were one of those jurors? You know what? Scratch that. We are the 13th juror. Okay, we are. We're going to pay attention closely to this case. Review as much of the evidence as we can, and at some point further down the line, as this trial continues, we're going to congregate in the comments and make our predictions on whether or not the 12 men and women sitting in the courtroom will find him innocent or guilty. But we are going to be very fair, non-biased. Like I said, his sexual preferences and fetishes, I don't really see anything wrong with people having a preference, or like if their kink level is through the roof. There's nothing, in my opinion, that's wrong with that. Um, it is what it is. You like what you like. My issue is when it begins to impact and harm other individuals. That's my issue. That's the only thing I take issue with. Now, let's see the last tweet. Judge, jurors, you can take lunch now. Jurors leave. Judge, Miss Slavic, are there still disagreements on the exhibits? AUSA Slavic, yes. The defense wants the exhibits to be longer and about masturbation. Defense, They wanted to cut it off at looking at my iPad. Woo! This must be messages between Cassie and Diddy. They're discussing the defense exhibits because it'll be their turn. They'll be up to bat shortly, and they will have an opportunity to question Cassie on pretty much everything that she has said thus far in open court. And they can also pose their own questions. Okay? So this should be interesting. I wonder if the defense is going to actually be able to cross examine her right after lunch. I kind of hope so. Because I think the defense they've done a good job, in my opinion. They've done a good job in laying out the case and the groundwork as far as the power dynamic in Diddy and Cassie's relationship. So it's kind of like, okay, cool. You know, they are what you call it? Let me see. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to see if there's another live tweet. Bear with me. Judge Subramanian just let the jury go to lunch 6 minutes ago, and the defense and prosecution are discussing defense exhibits. Okay, so I don't see another live tweet as of now, so I'm guessing the judge, they probably approached, or they're probably going to meet in chambers about the exhibits because, let's see, I don't see any other live tweets, y'all. Looking, yeah, and it's been 6 minutes. I'll give it a few more minutes, but guys, we are the 13th juror, and I definitely would like your participation and, your opinions. What are your thoughts so far? Um, I know some people have made predictions about the outcome of this case, but I'm going to look at it objectively. We have yet to hear what the defense's response is going to be to Cassie's testimony. Will the defense be able to poke holes in anything that she's currently said on the stand in open court? Um, will they be able to produce evidence that counteracts the picture that's been painted by prosecution? Um, it's for me, in my opinion, it is way too soon to make any predictions. Way too soon. It seems like every day Diddy's adding a new attorney to his team. Oh, you know what? While we wait on the live tweet, let's look up his attorneys. That's one thing I wanted to, because Donaldson, I uh, I never heard of Donaldson, and I never heard of Estevio. I think that's um, all right. Here we go. Show more. Okay, so it only actually lists um, Nicole Westmoreland Alexandria Shapiro, Brian Steele, Terry Garagos, and Mark Agnefello. So who are Donaldson and this is weird. Hold on. Let's see. Um, Donaldson. Donaldson. Why doesn't it list? Why doesn't it list? Who are the major players? Sean Diddy Combs legal team. Okay, here it is. Xavier Donaldson. So let's see. With a combination of 150 years of legal experience. Hold on. Criminal trial in New York. All right, with a combination of 150 years of legal experience, Combs's team of lawyers have defended everyone from alleged United Healthcare CEO Unaliver, Luigi Mangiani, to disgraced founder Martin Shkreli and rapper Young Thug. In looking at the team, especially on the first day of jury selections, it seems like it seemed like they've got people who are experts in their own kind of general areas, said ABC News legal contributor Brian Bucknight. No, Buckmere. I think the team that Diddy has put together are some heavy hitters in their own rights, and they're working together as such. Combs is a self proclaimed bad boy for life who was charged last year with racketeering, conspiracy, ex trafficking, and prostitution after prosecutors accused the rapper mogul of using violence to coerce women into acts, protect his business empire, and preserve his reputation as one of hip hop's most important figures. If convicted, he faces the possibility of life in prison. Combs has pleaded not guilty and was denied and has denied the allegations against him, and his lawyers are expected to argue that any of the alleged sexual activity was done by consenting adults. He rejected a plea deal last week. Now, I'm surprised. Well, I'm not really surprised because there's usually a plea deal in every single case. Um, I would genuinely love to know what that plea deal was like. Like, what did they offer him? Um, it says here, with an estimated $1 billion fortune helping support his legal defense, Combs is relying on his high powered army of attorneys to defend him in court and convince a jury to spare him a lengthy prison sentence. All right, so they start off with Mark Agnifilo, who is the lead, and then they say Terry Garagos. She's the daughter of famous Mark Garagos. Alexander Shapiro, we know about her. Brian Steele, most recently defended Young Thug in his RICO case in Georgia. Then they have, here it is, Xavier Donaldson. Xavier Donaldson, a New York-based criminal defense attorney, joined Combs's legal team on the eve of trial. So he's new. He has nearly 3 decades of criminal defense experience and worked as a former prosecutor in the Bronx. Here's the other new one that I didn't recognize, Anna Estivillo. Anna Estivillo is a partner at a New York law firm, Harris. I can't even pronounce the name of that one, LLC. She graduated from New York University School of Law and briefly worked as a federal defender in California, according to her LinkedIn profile. All right, and then this is another attorney that I hadn't heard of, Jason Driscoll. Jason Driscoll is an associate at Shapiro's law firm and one of the most junior members of Combs's defense team. He graduated from New York University School of Law and completed 2 deferral clerkships. Then they list Linda Moreno. So he has another attorney? Okay, wow. Linda Moreno is a high profile legal consultant who joined Combs's legal team to help with jury selection. Her law firm's website describes her as an expert on anti Muslim bias, including representing Soni Amin al Arim after he was indicted under the Patriot Act for allegedly playing a leadership role in the terrorist group Palestinian Jihad. He was acquitted on most charges and pleaded guilty to lesser charges. She also was on the legal team that secured an acquittal for Noor Solomon, the wife of the Pulse nightclub Pumer, who was accused of lying to the FBI and helping her husband. Moreno is no stranger to celebrity trials, having worked on the legal team defending American actor Wesley Snipes in his criminal trial for failing to file tax returns. Snipes was convicted on 3 misdemeanor charges, but acquitted on the more serious felony charges. Okay, so let's see. How many attorneys is that? Let's see. He has, she joined, Linda joined to help with jury selection. So that's 1. Jason Driscoll, that's 2. Anna Estivillo, that's 3. Xavier Donaldson, that's 4. Brian Steele, that's 5. Alexandria Shapiro, That's 6. Terry Garagos, 7. And Mark Agnifilo, who is the lead attorney in this case, I believe. That's what's implied, and that's how they've been operating. That's 8. So he has 8 attorneys sitting at that table. I had been saying the whole time that he needs 8 or 9. I had been saying the entire time that he's going to need 8 or 9 attorneys sitting at that defense table. And he stepped up to the plate with it. Wow. That's deep. That's a lot of attorneys. That's a lot of attorneys. All right, let's see, guys, where we're at. Defense. We just heard this morning about videos on his devices. So, this is relevant. AUSA Slavic. We can agree to more, something less than the 10 pages. And now, Hicker Fink for the witness, known as Mia. He says, there is a jury instruction about victims. What is Hicker Fink? Let's look that up, guys. What does Hicker Fink mean? Does anybody know? Well, I'm going to look it up. We're going to look that up. Let's look that up real quick, y'all. What is Hicker Fink mean? Federal criminal case. It's probably a statute. Okay. Hicker Fink lawyers have decades of combined experience handling trials. Wait a minute. Oh, that's her attorney. I guess that's her attorney. Let's see. Hicker Fink lawyer Mia would have taken this to her grave. I don't know how to support her if we can't discuss her pain, what she went through. We will not put words in her mouth. Her nerves are through the roof. Judge, we're trying to prevent witnesses being counseled on how to testify, what to say, what to say or not say. Anything else, okay, would that be acceptable? Hicker Fink, lawyer. I'm afraid she'll have a moment, lose it. Then ask me, did I forget something? I worry. So they're basically discussing. Mia is a former employee of Sean P. Diddy Combs, who has also come forward to share her experience with Diddy. She indicates that he did violate her. Um, she did not have an interest in engaging with him, but he took it there. But guys, it looks like they're just sorting out a bunch of things. So I'm going to go ahead and end the live here. And I will be back once they resume after the jury returns to the courtroom. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. I will catch you guys on the second half of day 3 later this evening. I'll try to come back probably at about 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, y'all.